Yeah, so it looks like it's all working. We're live on Facebook now. Hey, I figured it out. I figured it out. Holy
Ooh,
Toledo Batman. It's all happening.
all
This is it.
right.
This is it. It's 10 a.m. It is time for the Daily Bread Project. There's always bugs and there's always obstacles. In fact, this morning I had a friend asking me, "Hey, can I ask a favor? Can I come use the gym in your building because all the gyms are closing down by me and I got nowhere to work out." And I was like, "Cool, somebody to work out with." And as soon as I get home, Cupcake tells me, uh, "Building's on lockdown. No, nobody can get into our gym other than the residents here." And I tell the guy, "Hey, sorry, but the building is on lockdown." And he's like, "Oh man, the this whole coronavirus is messing." Oh, let me lower my volume. It's peaking out. This whole coronavirus is messing with my life, with my money, with my fitness. And I said, "Well, dude, get out there and run. Do some body weight exercises, do some squats, build an internet business. Like the obstacle is the way, people. And the same way that the obstacle is in the way or is the way, we are in lockdown. And today we're going to talk about leveraging lockdown to live larger. And that's what we're doing here. I've got a special guest today with me. Let's see if I can bring his I want to bring his pretty picture up on the website. But what's up, Jimmy? It's Jimmy Fullerton from the Uncommon Life podcast. What is up, my brother?
Man, it's just crazy, crazy times right now. Definitely having to do a lot of pivoting because everything just changes like day to day. So, but it's been good. We've had it's been kind of an emotional roller coaster,
Yeah,
like it has for a lot of people, I'm sure. So,
yeah, yeah. So number one, thanks for being here. I'm gonna do a screenshot. I have to do this, Jimmy. I
do
cannot
it.
help myself, but I got to do a screenshot. Look at the screen, people. Can you see that screen? Yeah, you can see that screen, can't you? Living your faith with relentless persistence, unfiltered and unleashed. This is Jimmy Fullerton right here. He's in your earbuds. He's part of the Podcast Factory family, and we share a lot of the same values. That's why he's here with me today. And you were one of the first people, Jimmy. You got technical difficulties going on, you got on the ground businesses. What inspired you to be here today?
I have, since this started, really, I guess it's probably last week was pretty good up until about Friday. Things started to kind of shift. Up until then, I was kind of, you know, thinking this was just a silly little reaction, panic reaction to something that really wasn't that big of a deal. On Friday, my opinion and perception of this started to change. I started to realize this was probably going to be a little bit bigger. And then Saturday, it really started to hit me, and I kind of went into a little bit of a funk. But it didn't last that long. I took my daughter. We had a little daddy-daughter date night. We did go out. It was before it got really crazy. We went to a movie, and I came home and I was okay. My wife, that's when she kind of had a little bit of a meltdown. 'Cause we realized we weren't going. I own a trampoline. We own a trampoline park, which is a large gathering of people if it's being run properly. So that's what you want, but not right now. So Saturday, I realized that this is going to be a little bit different. We found out a lot of other trampoline parks were shutting down. So we realized that that might be what we have to do in light of this current environment that we're in. So, and the realization of that, plus knowing that we have to lay off some employees, all of our employees, while we shut down, and we don't know how long all this is going to last. So the reality hit both of us, uh, and we did struggle with it. And I mean, it's not over, but our mindset's totally different now. I can't really speak for my wife as far as how hers changed, but for me, I, um, you know, I got back on to making sure I was sticking to my daily routine, my morning routine. That's very important for me. that's that 1 hour of the day that I can actually control. Because throughout the day, you never know what's going to happen, especially with what's going on now. So, but I got that 1 hour. That's mine. I can take care of myself, prepare myself, mentally, spiritually, a little bit physically, and kind of get ready to be, who I'm supposed to be from my family and from my friends. So that was a big thing for me is sticking to that morning ritual. Having a devotional time, having some reading, some time when I can, you know, meditate, reflect, maybe write in my journal. But that hour is really it's important for me. So that was one of the main things that kind of helped shift my mindset. And I
So
think it's important for everybody to kind of, with the craziness going on, you're going to have to pivot and change and do some things a little bit differently. But I think you've got to have some kind of a plan for each day and go out and just hit it hard.
it
Be
is
consistent.
interesting what you're saying there, because if I heard you correctly, you said that there was a lot of uncertainty coming down, and we did the same thing. Like Thursday, we decided to cancel our ski trip. Obviously, no snow agenda this year, and I was glad because by Saturday they
Man,
closed the mountain. But what I heard you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard you say that the way that you're handling this and the way that you are keeping your mindset and your spirit up is by sticking to your routine. Is that really what you just said to me?
you're damn right. Excuse my French. Yes, yes. I think it's important for people also to see that you're not freaking out. I mean, I think we all need to. I'm not saying you shouldn't have a sense of urgency about some things, but people don't need to see you freaking out. You need to, I think it's important to remain calm and to still do those things that make you be the best you can be. I think that's important because if you're not the best you can be, then you're not going to be able to help others and do what you're called to do here on this earth. So yeah, that was a big deal for me.
Dude, and what is this thing that you just said? And what I'm like learning as we go here, so I'm dropping the tips on the Facebook Live there. But you said do the things that you need to do. You talked about leadership, and so tell me a little bit about how you're leading in this crazy time. How you're leading your family, how you're leading your team, how you're leading, and what that leadership looks like today.
Well, a couple of things. We had to, when we realized we were going to have to close our doors temporarily, we went ahead and, it was a difficult conversation, but you got to be real with the people that are in your pack. So we called our general manager, had him and his new wife over to our house and talked to him and told him what we were planning on doing. We also had a face-to-face conversation with our office manager and the people that we really going to have uh, to make sure the park runs properly and that they stay with us. So we just told them what was going on, what we were doing, and why we were doing it, and we're going to take care of them the best we can. But right now, this is the best thing to make sure our business stays, viable. So I guess the bigger thing is we were very transparent and very honest with our people, with our staff. We had to lay off. We're talking about 50, 55 people that we had to lay off.
Wow, that many.
So yeah, so that's why it loomed very heavy on us about what was in front of us. But once we did that, and we were very honest, very open, and very real. Once we did that, it kind of helped us to move forward. So that was a very big deal for us. That was a gorilla we got off our back, and we want to make sure our people. I mean, they're like family to us. So, especially my wife. I mean, it's that was a very big decision. But like I said, leading by being honest, not denying the reality of the situation, but being transparent and honest and making sure that everybody understands why we're doing what we're doing, and they respected that. So that's one way to lead is, if you have a business and you have a lot of employees, you've got to be honest with them. You can't lead by fear of what they're going to do. You got to be honest and transparent, very transparent with them. I think they respect that. So that's one thing. The other thing is they see we're not freaking out. We're not panicking. The world's not coming to an end. We're just continuing to, we're doing the right things and trying to live our lives, day to day, and plan as much as we can out in the future, given the situation, which is unprecedented in my lifetime. Um, but, stability, transparency, honesty, and remaining, calm and at peace, not freaking out. Do the opposite of what everybody else is doing.
Come on. Don't tell me that whole garage of yours is not filled with toilet paper right now.
It's not, man. I was going to post something on social media about this. This is a pet peeve of mine because, if you read the Bible, when God is leading the Israelites in the desert day to day, he gives them manna, and those that gather too much, what happened to them? They got a plague, or they got worms. So those people that that want to hoard and gather too much, think about that. I'm just saying, it's in the Bible. So, I think you should do some common sense things for your family, but this thing about buying, like, taking out money, $500 to buy toilet paper. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, it's like the most important thing for these people was taking care of that down there.
Yeah.
So it just
Staying
bothered me.
clean, man. Staying
Yeah,
clean is good.
yeah, it is. It is. Obviously, it is to a lot of people too. So, uh, where the hoarding thing, yeah. So that kind of, like I said, I do believe in doing some common sense things to take care of your family. But, you
Like
know,
what? Give me an example. So it's not hoarding toilet paper. So what are some common sense things without panic, without any of that craziness? What are some of the common sense things that you
oh,
recommend?
all right. Well, we had already been planning on buying a freezer for some time. We need a freezer. So we thought, this would be a good time to do it. But it's not, because the freezers are pretty much bought out now.
Really?
But I do think something like that is good. Buying, frozen food, uh, you canned stuff, stuff like that will tide you over if there's how fragile the supply chain is right now. So
Yeah.
if there's a temporary shortage of something, you have enough to kind of tide you over. I'm talking about maybe a few weeks, maybe a month, but not like 6 months or a year. So, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we did a lot. That's something else that's kind of helped is we've been as proactive as we can, finding out about what our options are about a business like ours. Things like business interruption insurance. What does that cover for us? Um, working out things with lenders, landlords, making sure they're working with us because they want us to have we don't want to bleed through all of our capital. I mean, we're in a good position, but you just doing common sense things like that to kind of help you prepare for, you're not sure what, but they help you mentally because you're engaged, you're taking action, you're doing things to help yourself, not just reacting and waiting for another shoe to drop. You know,
Yeah. So
does wonders for your attitude doing stuff like that.
I got to tell you, I'm in full agreement with you. We didn't hoard, but we do have like a week's worth of groceries just because we're not going out, and so I had to buy groceries because we usually go out a couple times a week. I have not
Yeah,
bought any toilet paper, so I don't know anything about the toilet paper shortage. I got what I got, and if not, I got water. And Brandon Neely says he's got rags if we need, so he's offering to help. And this is a time right now that we can all help each other. Hey, you can. In the Philippines, they just clean themselves with a little bit of water. They just put some.
yeah,
So let's
yeah.
share some tips here. But let's talk about keeping your spirits up, because you just mentioned that all of this that you've done has helped keep you in a positive frame of mind. So what are you doing? What are some of the things that you're doing to stay positive right now?
Well, there's several things. One, I think it's a really good idea when you get hit with something like this to keep trying to learn. And like for instance, I'd started this before all this pandemonium, but I've been learning about affiliate marketing, um, and I've continued to do that. And actually, I've been working with a guy that is really good at it and has been doing it for a while. And I woke up, I went to bed last night, and then I woke up this morning and I actually made some money doing nothing. So it wasn't much, but it's a start, and it did wonders for my mind to say, hey man, look, there's something positive that I can do here. It's got big potential, but you got to start somewhere. So stuff like that, continuing to learn, I think is really, really important, because there's a time way back. In fact, when I first hooked up with you, it happened. I'd been following your podcast, your Making Agents Rich podcast from way back, way back. And you had this seller getter program you were selling, and I had not bit the bullet and decided to do it yet, but I was in the process of doing I was selling a rental property, and there was another deal I was working on that depended on me selling that house and getting a certain amount of money. And I had the property under contract, and everything was going fine. I was happy. And then the deal fell through out of the blue. It's like somebody hit me in the stomach. I was like, oh. I mean, I knew I was going to struggle with that. So, but for some reason, I decided, you know what? Now would be a good time for me to purchase that. It wasn't that expensive. I mean, it was reasonably priced. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to buy it. I'm going to do that program. I'm going to start that training program. And it did wonders for me mentally. It's like I went from a bad place mentally to like, oh, I got something I can learn. So it kind of got my momentum going in a different direction. So stuff like that, I think, is huge, because you realize, your life's not over. I can still be learning. I can still be growing. And as long as you can do that, that helps you mentally. Something else I started doing, this was probably about 5 days ago. I've been reading about this for a while. I think I first heard about this on the Tim Ferriss show a while back, or maybe in a book. But have you ever heard of the cold plunge?
Oh, are you doing that?
Not a plunge, because I'm not doing an ice bath, but I'm doing a cold shower. I've got one of these showers. It's a big shower. We got one faucet that comes at you and one that comes directly overhead. So I turn both of them on, and at the end of my shower, I'll turn them on, blast them as cold as they'll go, and it sucks. I mean, it's great.
Wait. I have an important question to go with that, because I want the truth. When you go and you blast the cold, do you scream like a little bee, or what do
I
you
was
do?
going to tell you. No, I was going to tell you. The first time I did it, and maybe one or two other times when I first did it, I made kind of a little noise. I was hoping, and I was saying to myself, "Oh my God, I hope my wife didn't hear that." It's like a ah. It was, but the whole point of it, I mean, it does suck, I will tell you, but you feel so good afterwards. And the whole idea for me is, that's about 30 seconds where you're having to, your body's freaking out, because it's physically, it shocks your system. But the whole idea is to control your breathing and get used to functioning when your body's freaking out. So, and I actually try to do something while that's happening, like maybe put some soap or do something, put the cap back on, something, just do something constructive while all that's going on. And then once you turn it off, it's like it just wakes up. Every single part of your body is awake. So I don't recommend it if you have heart problems, but it's but doing stuff like that, something new, challenging yourself, is you can do it physically or whatever else challenges you. This is a good time to do it.
I love that, man. So there's a couple things that you said there that I want to go back to. And number one is the cold showers. I was doing that for a while and I quit. But there was the reason I asked you that specific question of whether you screamed or not, because I had a friend doing it, And he was telling us about it, and then his wife is like, yeah, he screams like a little girl every time. And I was like, oh man, I've been doing that. So then when I was like, I can't have my family thinking I'm a little girl. So I go in there and I'm like, yeah, I get to do this. I get to do this. I get to. And
Yeah, it definitely
handling it
humbles you.
quietly.
It
Yeah.
definitely humbles you for sure.
So actually, we were watching on Netflix. We saw, I don't know what the show is called, but they had Iceman Hoff on there, which is one of these guys that believes in those cold plunges, and he can't get sick or anything like that. And Cupcake was watching it, and we were both like, "This is pretty amazing." And I think, I think she agreed that we would go do it together. And they were plunging themselves in like 30-degree water and all that. And I want to do that because you're right. Getting that breathing, getting that breathing right while that's happening means that you have control. Like your body's doing another thing, but if your mind can control that breathing and keep your head right, it's almost like you can handle anything at
It's
all.
it's probably equivalent in some ways to that 75 hard that you did, as far as the mental part of it, and you having to, because you're sitting there at first going, you're having to learn how to calm down and control, but then not just calm down, but try to function and do something like, you know, like I'll shave in the shower and I don't go through the whole process, but I'll get the shaving lotion and kind of get it ready, and but I'm not going to shave with cold water. I'm just not going to do that.
Uh,
But just doing something and functioning when your body's in panic mode, I think is good because your brain, it tells your brain, hey, your brain, you can take over and not let your body dictate what's happening right now. So I thought it was a good time to do it in light of everything else. We're in an environment where people are just freaking out. So I think it's good, kind of a good mental exercise to do that.
I love it. I love it. And I'm going to put that on the tips here. Take cold showers and don't scream like a little bee. That's a good
You can
tip.
let yourself do it, but at least the first time, at least the first time, but you can't do it every time.
Yeah, yeah, you got to get over that. There
Yeah.
was a couple other things that I wanted to just come back to. Um, I want to shine the light on these things because I'm not sure if everybody is paying full attention to the valuable tips that you're giving here. Another thing that you said, and it's actually the reason you and I met, you said create multiple streams of income. And you have affiliate stuff going, you've got the podcast going, you've got your real estate, you've got your bounce house. So you've got multiple streams just in case one goes down, you still have the others. And I don't think enough people think about cash flow. Like people think about net worth and people think about money in the bank. I think about cash flow and like where can I get cash from different places? Like I have rents and I have retainers and I have my dividends and different ways to bring cash in. And so that that right there is a huge tip, people. Like wake up, get more cash flows ASAP. And this is the reason I say this is why you and I met was because I had a real estate business when I started. I lost everything and I was like, oh man, I got to rebuild. So I rebuilt that and then I started the online business, which the version that or the business online, which the version that you met me on was Making Agents Rich.
Yeah.
Now it's the Podcast Factory. And then the other thing that you said that I really like and kind of got us off on this tangent is keep learning, keep challenging yourself, keep growing. There's no reason why we can't. And I'm like reading everything. I got books galore. I'm doing devotionals. I'm doing everything right now because what else am I going to do? I mean, what else are we going to do? So I love that you brought those tips, Jimmy. Thank you for that.
Hey, you're welcome. I think it's also important. Something else has helped me a lot is, doing one thing about doing the podcast is I've connected with local business people, and all these businesses are going through a lot of the same things. I mean, very few people and very few businesses right now are untouched in some way, shape, or form. So I've been talking to several different people every day about what they're going through, and I can't tell you how much that helps. I was talking actually with, one of the guys I speak with every day is Simon Chang. I did one of my first podcasts was with him. He owns Ultimate U Sports, and he's been going through the same thing we have, and he's seen his business drop. People are canceling because it's a environment where a lot of people gather. So it's affected him. So just talking to him and other people like that and finding out what they're going through. And, I told him about our situation, how we had this little freak out Saturday, and he laughed. He cracked up laughing because they did too. And it was good to share that and understand, hey, it's okay to have some downtime. You are human, but just being able to share those stories is good, and also be able to kind of share information about a variety of different things about what some options are you can have. So talk, and engaging with other people, trying to, right now everybody's in this mentality of hoard. It's me, and to have that kind of mentality. And like I said, do the opposite. Try to give more. Try to
That's why
like
we're here.
I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'm gonna try. That's why I jumped at the chance, because I think it's important to be able to encourage people. I try to make sure I encourage at least one person every day. Maybe it's a business owner like me and Simon, and other, Eric Norris, who I also talk to on a regular basis. I think it's good to do that because people need that right now. They need to know other people that are going through the same thing, and not isolate themselves, because that's what everybody is doing basically.
Social distancing.
It
I'm like,
is.
let's come
Everybody.
together just online.
Yeah. Now, thank God, we have the ability to do that, and it helps. So yeah, definitely making sure you stay connected to other people, and also don't just be about you. Be about helping other people and giving. Trying to give. Everybody's hoarding, so this is the time you need to give
Right.
as much as you
Zag
can.
when they zig, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So that's uh, that's a big deal for me.
That's why you're
That's why
here.
we're here. That's why we're here.
Yes, that's why you jumped right on this, and this is why we're together, and this is why I call the Podcast Factory a family, and this is what I've learned more than anything is that like attracts like. You're like me. We like each other. We're gonna work together. We've known each other for many, many, many years, and we worked together through different iterations, and so I'm stoked that you shared some time with us here today. I mean, there's tips galore. I'm going to go back and see if I have them all here. I can't even read all this. Too many tips, but multiple streams of income. Keep learning and growing. Keep challenging yourself. Stay inside your routines to get through this. Don't panic. Like, there's so much that you shared here. I don't know if everybody got all of it, but your generosity is incredible. For anybody listening, anybody watching, it's the Uncommon Life podcast. You can find it at the Podcast Factory or wherever you listen to podcasts. Jimmy, I'm going to ask you, obviously, I'm going to ask you to share this live to your page, but also on the comments, share a link to your podcast so if people want to hear more. It'll be there for them. Anything else you want to say as we're wrapping up our daily light, the Daily Bread Project, nourishing these souls out there who need it most?
I want to compliment you on what you're doing. The first thing you thought about, the whole idea of you doing this came from a good place. You're trying to put some light out there, and I had the same kind of thinking about, everybody is so dark right now, and there's a lot of uncertainty. I just think it's good that, I appreciate what you're doing, taking the initiative, doing this. People don't understand doing something like this every day is not easy. I mean, the technical difficulties and all the things that can go wrong, it's not easy to do it, and you're putting yourself out there, so I appreciate what you're doing and trying to keep people like-minded people pumped up, but also people that may not be normally exposed to this kind of stuff. I think it's great to have this out there. So I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you. That
Keep
means
it
a
up,
lot to
brother.
me.
Keep it
Thank you.
up.
Thank you. All right, guys, that's your daily bread for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Jimmy Fullerton right there, the Uncommon Life Show, the Uncommon Life Podcast. We'll share a link in the comments. Thank you so much, brother.
All right,
Keep
man.
rocking.
See ya.